and I believe we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bria's Familiar contest, where we're going to be looking at all of your wonderful submissions and um, picking one to win. For those of you who may not know, Bria's is an upcoming Kickstarter, and I'll show some pictures and a little bit of all the cool plushes and stuff. It's going to be a Kickstarter that has a bunch of cool plushies and a 5e compendium book that goes along with them, so you can have these cool creatures travel with you as familiars or companions and all that kind of excellent stuff. So we're going to kind of dive right in. But before we do, I guess we should probably introduce ourselves. So we're all from MythCraft the podcast. So if you are in the MythCraft Discord, if that's how you got here, you might see us talking there. MythCraft is the system that Quasi-Real developed last year, and we've been doing a whole bunch of excellent things for. Veil of the Eternal Night is the Kickstarter we just finished up and is going to be coming out soon. And we are the podcast that plays the system. So let me see if I can share my screen and figure this out. Oh no, it's different on Chrome. Okay.
I believe in you. You can do this.
Maybe I figured it out.
Yay.
Pictures. And
Yes.
I hope you all enjoy my wonderful presentation that I put together for this. It took me a long time. So like I said, we're MythCraft the podcast, an actual play podcast that's really focused on like political intrigue, espionage, betrayal, all that kind of cool stuff. A lot of soup. There's soup
A lot
in
of soup.
like 30% of the episodes at this point. I think. I don't know. I think it's somewhere close to that.
There's a lot of
It's a
soup.
rising trend.
There's so much soup. So I'll just start out. My name is Andrea. I play Kiris on MythCraft the podcast. She is a cool fiend blood. She is pretty no nonsense and grumpy a lot of the time, but she's trying to be nicer. Then I'll just pass it down. Whoever wants to go next.
Beautiful. Well, hey everybody. My name is Roger Perky, and I play Lucian Delwary on MythCraft the podcast. And all of the no nonsense, I have picked up all of the nonsense from Kiris on the podcast. It is Lucian's singular goal to become everyone's problem, one person at a time.
Sick.
And that's been happening pretty. and the party's learning
pretty
about that. The party's
consistently, yes.
the party's starting to learn about it. I'm Tanner. I play Friend the Golem, who is just a very sweet, a very friendly, and naive golem who is wandering down a strange path, not where they were expected to be, and it is very apparent that they were not expected to be here.
Friend is perfect.
Yep.
My
Friend is
turn, I
perfection.
think. Hi, I'm Baldwin. I play Thistle Featherfoot, the adorable little colorful squirrel, front and center in this photo. And yeah, they left their home for adventure, and they've found more than they bargained for, and that is all I will say.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. My name is Carradine, previously known as Kyle, and I am the MC or the game master for MythCraft the podcast, and have loved every single second of it. So, definitely a lot of soup, more soup than I wrote, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Broccoli cheddar for the win.
Soup and trauma.
Yeah, it's
Perfect
perfect
mixture.
ingredients. Yeah.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect ingredient.
So to dive in why we're here, like I said, Bria's with all this really amazing artwork. If you haven't seen all the artwork that Cuddlecore is putting out on social media, you should definitely check it out. It is all absolutely gorgeous. And this is a competition to get a cool little critter in the book. So the winner actually gets a $100 cash prize, which is super cool. And your submission will go right in with credit. And then there's all these amazing plushes. I told you I showed you a picture of them all. The humongous slime is my favorite. It's
I'm
so
so
big.
excited.
It's like child size. And they're great. They're great. So definitely check out Cuddlecore's Facebook page, all their socials. They are putting out pictures of them all over the place. I absolutely love all of them, and it's gonna be hard not to buy every single one. So we're going to dive in. So how this is going to work, we're going to go through each submission one by one, talking a little bit about their lore, their abilities, their appearance, any descriptors that you gave. I tried to keep as much as the text as I could from your submissions. Some got cut down a little bit so I could fit it. And any artwork and stuff like that. And then at the end, we're going to come together. We're all going to pick our top 2 or top 3. I haven't decided yet. And then basically just argue it out to pick a winner. So it'll be great. So submission number 1. And if they didn't have artwork, I picked a GIF. This is Chubsy. Chubsy is a large in girth cat who can predict the future.
I'm sold. I'm sold.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
This gift just felt way too perfect.
Oh,
Chubsy loves to interfere with tarot readings. They also lead adventures down sage paths and frights unseen beings, or sometimes they just ask for scritches. Important things. And when it comes to Chubsy, Chubsy is just a portly ginger and white cat with glowing blue eyes.
Yeah, aren't we all? I imagine Chubsy. I imagine Chubsy like knocking the tarot cards like off the table.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they
Absolutely.
fall, like during the shuffle.
Yep.
It's just Chelsea knocking it out. I also, I think we left this out, but the verbal component for this is to summon Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
that is how you summon.
But it's up to Chubsy whether or not he'll actually show up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause You have to catch him in a
See-
good mood.
Quite
See,
fickle.
the summoning ritual for Chubsy is you have to make a circle of catnip and then just for as long as you can until they finally show up.
I
Or a
want
cardboard
Chubsy
box.
to be like hippo sized. I actually don't want Chubsy to be like cat sized. I want Chubsy to just be this outrageously large cat that you can ride into battle at the same time.
Oh, 100%,
Yep.
100%.
That's the paladin steed, Chelsea.
Find greater steed. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. All right, let's go on to number 2. Flower. Flower is a little succulent with big ambitions to gain knowledge. Flower can remove a petal or bulb and plant it in the ground, and then from that they can record sounds or they can communicate with people in the area. Alternatively, the companion to Flower can learn a little bit of lore about the area once a day using this ability, which I think is really cool.
Very cool.
That's clever.
It's pretty awesome, yeah.
And then what Flower looks like is actually depending on where Flower is born. So just like succulents come in all different types and shapes depending on where they are, your flower depends on where they come. I just want a little tiny, like, stupid cactus.
You have to take a spike off the cactus. Put it in the
Yes.
Aren't they hard to kill too? Like it's pretty hard to.
You would think.
Yo,
You would think.
people
I'm
have
not
said
going to
that.
talk
Oh,
about
okay.
how many cactuses I've managed to unalive.
Okay.
Oh,
I
man.
love a magical plant. That's so cute.
Yeah.
I think I really like that that aspect of being able to like use it as communication because it's not only adorable but it's also got a lot of utility to it. So
Yeah.
I do like that, especially in something like MythCraft the podcast, which is this big political intrigue campaign, and being able to have this like flower that's planted in different areas for espionage.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah.
sounds
Actually
perfect.
planting the seed.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, look at that.
And we've
It's
come
good.
across a lot of like gardened, flowered areas already. So
That is true.
imagine
That
if
is
the plants
true.
are listening.
Yep.
Now the question is, like succulents, does each little like petal turn into a new flower eventually? Like, can you just like,
Oh, you can propagate it?
like yeah, like is it gonna like slowly grow and eventually it will be its own like flower?
Ka-
a good question.
Carradin's not over here taking notes.
Yeah, you guys know a lot about flowers.
Many,
Way more
many
than I
years
know.
from now, you can walk through like a forest of trees that just are sentient.
Oh God,
That-
what if they're all talking at the same time? Ugh.
Oh,
Yeah.
that reminds me of the no-no vines from World Weavers. If anybody was a World Weavers fan, you know the no-no vines. Number 3. This one is fantastic. Squidlet. Squidlet
Aw.
is a
Yep.
small squid that just swims through the air
Oh,
and has power over light.
Huh.
Sold.
Okay.
that's
What that
cute
means
as-
could be anywhere from like it lights up or it shoots laser beams.
True.
Or it
true.
sucks all the light out of an area. if you walk into a room, all the lights.
Oh, maybe it sucks all the light to light up itself. Just like,
Ooh.
I am the
Ooh.
light source now.
Like a like a
I am the light.
Deluminator type thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just
just-
love the idea of sea creatures flying.
Yes.
That just makes me
Just
really happy.
Following
Just
the
full-
party,
full stop.
floating. Oh.
just
The ocean is air. Like
now the question is, can it swim, or is it
Yeah.
just like one or the other? Like it's just now it is a squid that's
Yep.
only
what
in
if you
air.
put it in the water and it like dissolves?
It only
Oh.
flies.
Oh no.
How do you get to dissolve? I would just think.
It's paper mache. It's
I don't know
paper
why.
mache.
I don't know why I
Oh,
went like worst
maybe.
case scenario.
Nope. Not just that it can't swim, but that it dissolves in water.
Forget I said
No.
anything. That's very dark.
Adding very specific lore and ability to Squidlet.
So
Squidlet's just a
Don't
little
feed
cloud.
it after midnight. Don't get it wet.
So again, I think I'm like looking at this as like potential in the podcast for like the political
Yeah.
intrigue. And so
Yeah.
like sending one of these into a room to darken it out so you can sneak through.
Ooh,
Very
That's really
that would be
cool.
Or
I
like
would be in
an
the room where you're
entire.
like, what is that? Is that a squid? You just
whoosh, it just gets dark. Like, oh
An
no.
entire place that like instead of like they have little candelabras, but instead of candles, they're just little floating squids.
Right.
Oh.
Could
That's
Oh, that would be
terrifying.
interesting.
I
That
don't
would
know
be
the-
interesting.
the rules behind like familiars and creatures and companions. Can you resummon them at will?
But if they're summoned companions, like using like base D&D 5e rules,
Yeah.
I won't go into like like MC stuff. Like yeah, if they like disapparate or they're otherwise banished from this plane or somehow unalived, you should be able to summon them back. Some DMs will rule that you have to like you're pulling a new creature from a different plane, but it's up to the DM.
Okay, because I feel like now this is awful, but my immediate thought was like Thistle being able to target practice on this squid, and just, every time it pops, it's like shooting a balloon. And every time it pops, but it just comes back.
It's like
My
fireballs.
immediate thoughts, yeah,
Poor Squidlet.
yeah. Poor Squidlet's just we're making it dissolve in water.
What's
and
wrong
shoot it
with
out of the
us?
sky.
Moving on to the next one.
I would-
Poor Squidlet gets killed.
I know.
in
I would
no way.
ask who heard us, but I think they're on the call with us.
The call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah, right.
Mission number 4, the exploding weasel.
Oh God. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
sold. Hang on.
This fiendish weasel is found primarily in the Nine Hells, but those smart enough to summon a devil find it pretty easy to summon the exploding weasel. It's a low-level fiend that is known for its odd climbing abilities, but primarily its ability to suddenly combust into a small ball of fire. It has a habit of combusting when it's excited, or scared, or really feeling any emotion. But luckily it's fireproof, so it it
Okay.
just randomly combusts on a regular basis. Due to this, PCs that have this creature as a familiar typically know cantrips to put out fires, or they just carry water with them all the time because we don't want to start forest fires, right? The exploding weasel is relatively large for a weasel, though still small, and usually appears with scorched fur and whiskers. These whiskers are also sometimes on fire, depending on the last time it combusted. It has 6 legs and 3 eyes, but always has a blank look on its face. They are regularly described as struggling to even have one brain cell bouncing around in their little head. Quoted straight from the person who designed this.
Oh, that is amazing.
I'm
That
kind
is
of,
amazing.
I'm kind of in love.
Yeah. I also like they talk about it being singed, but I also see like that almost like mad scientist face
Yes.
about it, where like it's
Yeah.
blown up and it's pushed back.
The fur is pushed back.
It's like, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's perfect.
I will say that one of my one part of my rubric for grading is it plushiable? And I don't know how safe an exploding weasel is for is it plushiable? You're like you buy a plushie and it may just light on fire and not be a plushie any longer.
Playtest Till It Breaks mentioned Fireball, and that was one of my first thoughts, is that I cast Exploding Weasel. Don't you mean Fireball hits in the face of the weasel?
I do not. I do not.
Oh, so I feel like my rubric that I'm looking right now is like looking at it from a DM or an MC, and especially in something like the podcast where if you have a bunch of these and you just let them loose at the beginning of a battle, or you just like fling them like catapult type thing, and then you just got boom, 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 boom. That's amazing. That's
Thistle
amazing.
and their army of exploding weasels. Charge!
I could
Yep.
see this being a good companion pet for like a fire genasi.
Yeah. And there's
maybe
already
even
Or
great.
water
Genasi.
genasi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's already great precedent for like the druid like summon wildfire spirit type of energy too. This is just like a different, arguably better flavoring for some of that energy.
No, absolutely.
I like the idea,
Maybe
the
they-
opposite of going on a stealth mission and just your weasel just randomly exploding because it got too
Yeah.
excited.
Haven't we
Oh.
talked about like Weasel Balls the toy on the podcast
Yes, we
before?
have.
Also?
Yes. Oh no, this one lights up on fire.
Oh, yeah. See, you have two different creatures with light sources. It's just how safe it is.
Yeah. True.
Don't worry about it.
Oh
All right,
man.
next up, another adorable one. These are all adorable, to be fair. The Kippa. Kippas are special foxes that have some magical abilities. They range from loyal companions to fierce fighters. They are said to be connected to the World Tree, and their ancestors used to guard the meadows and forests surrounding it. Agile and sneaky creatures, it's very rare to come across a Kippa. It's rumored that coming across one, though, will bring good fortune to those that witness it. Unfortunately, this has led to people trying to trap them over the years, and the numbers have begun to dwindle. Kippas have the ability to tell one's emotions and to know one's true intentions. Some are even said to have the ability to manipulate plants around them. From afar, one would mistake the Kippa for just a normal fox, but if you look closely, you realize that they have these stunning leaf green eyes. Just like foxes, they come in a range of colors, red and black, silver and black, but some are actually purple. They have unique markings around their face, chest, or tail that resemble leaves, tying back to the world tree. And they are slightly larger than normal foxes with thicker coats, but this makes them excellent cuddle partners.
No, that's adorable. That is so
Yeah.
adorable. I just have to throw that out.
10
Yeah.
out of 10.
Plushiness is 10 out of 10 on that
Yeah,
one.
it is very
That's
plushable.
amazing.
Will it plushie? Yeah.
Yes.
Yo, 100% that'll plushie.
It's good lore too.
God,
Very good lore.
absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
very descriptive. It's like very unique the way that they talk about the markings and like
Yeah.
resembling
Yeah.
back to the tree. Like very cool.
Like I can picture it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like
see... Sorry.
take it, Mal. What do you see?
I was gonna say I could see Curious with one of these. Like
Okay.
knowing someone's intentions and telling people's emotions, I think
Yeah.
would be really interesting.
That's true.
I think like sitting from like a storyteller perspective, like there's already like a pull or a hook. Like I want to go and stop the individuals who are trying to trap
Yeah.
the Kippa. So there's like good like arcs that you could have with this as well. Whenever you stumble across a creature like this, I don't know. It's a lot of potential with this one.
No, I'm looking at it too. So like in the MythCraft podcast with like the political and having mages who have these as familiars, and they go into interrogations and things along those lines, or into summit meetings with these in order to be able to determine if someone's intentions are good. I love it.
I could see Curious with one, but I think more so I could see Hildegard with one.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I feel like that's a Hildegard match.
But see, I feel like Lucian would not be happy about it. Like at all.
Lucian actually hates foxes. We
Yeah.
found.
Lucian is actually allergic to foxes and chooses not to be around them. So.
Lore drop.
Yep.
Can't be around foxes. Next one. This one actually had artwork that come with it, which is awesome. Whoever drew this did
Love
a
that.
great job.
Yes.
It's the toxic dart frog. So deep in the jungles, there's a rare type of frog. They are very colorful and truly a beautiful sight. But beware to look with your eyes and not your hands, because this frog is deadly to the touch. The toxic dark frog can excrete a deadly toxin from its skin while threatened. It also has a needle on its head resembling a horn, and this can be used to inject a much stronger dose of this toxin. On the offensive, it can be seen leaping up to 10 feet to strike at its foes with this needle. Once it considers you its friend, it makes a great pet, and it rarely, I like that they put rarely, poisons the creature that it likes. Not never,
Never zero.
rarely.
Never zero.
It has been known to allow its friends to pick it up and fling it like a dart, letting allies make use of its attack at a much further range. Appearance-wise, it is a sleek-looking jungle frog with bright, vivid colors, hues, patterns, all of that good stuff. It has no use for camouflage, as it has significant defenses with its toxins. And the horn on its head, like they said, is similar to that of a needle or a snake fang.
Okay, so like hypodermic.
How slingshotable is it? I know it said it can be thrown,
Yeah.
but can it be fired in a slingshot?
I think it depends on the user of said device.
I want Thistle to have one and be very good friends with it, and it can sit on the tip of an arrow and just like hold on really tight.
Hold on to the
Thistle
arrow.
can shoot it.
I want high speed art of this toxic dark frog, like on the tip of an arrow.
Just flying.
Just the wind rushing around it. No, absolutely.
It's the
No
it's the
negative
rarely for me.
ramifications.
Yeah. The rarely part is that killed me. That killed me.
My son is like knows all about like poison dart frogs just in real life, so this touches like a special place for me. He would go crazy over the toxic dart frog.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Is it plushiable though?
Is
Tanner?
it plushable? It's like how
I
hard
think
do
it
you make
can
the?
be.
Oh, yeah.
Is it a real needle
Yeah.
on the head? Because if not, we're not staying true to the toxic dart frog. You have to put a snake fang or a
Yeah,
needle
for-
on the head.
For legal reasons, there are no needles in any of our plushies.
This
For
is a
legal
collectible.
reasons.
It is not a toy for children.
Oh no.
Frogs are super cute. I think this is one. Yeah, this is one that came with a whole
Oh, awesome.
MythCraft. So Bria's
Yeah, that-
is going to be for 5e,
Okay.
but this person submitted stats for MythCraft, which was super cool. So they did
Yeah.
a full stat block, so I wanted to show this. They have a climb speed. They have actually intimidating skill, which I thought was a fun ad.
I love that.
They have the features, and then its attack, which is to leap 10 feet and attack somebody with its needle.
Wow.
So I thought this was super cool that this person went through and made a whole stat block for the
Yeah, no,
toxic
That
dart
is very
frog.
cool.
That's awesome.
I
I
love
love
that
it.
this frog has an armor rating of 11.
Like most of our.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think this frog has more strength than Kyrus does.
Oh,
And
It definitely has
Rebecca
more
He has
strength
more
than
strength than Thistle.
almost all the party.
yeah. no,
Raise your hand
this,
if you're weaker than a frog.
This frog has more strength than most every single character on the show. Absolutely. That is hilarious.
It's like, oh, it's
That is
fine. It's just a
perfectly-
frog. Cut to the entire party's just obliterated.
No, that is phenomenal.
It reminds me of there's an episode of Family Guy where they're like showing off their animals, and there's like a jacked pig, and it's like oink, and it's just huge and ripped. Like this frog just like walking like a gorilla.
Ribbit.
Yeah, ripped.
Oh my gosh.
For those of you that don't play MythCraft, that's not significantly strong. Our party's just significantly weak.
Yep.
They are very much so. Absolutely.
We made a choice.
Up next. This one is also another 2-page parter because they put so much lore in here. The Vespa Bee Queen. So the Vespa Bee Queen is actually a living beehive that moves around territories that they control. You'll never see more than one in close vicinity of each other unless they're fighting over this territory or resources. They can be found in many different biomes, from bayous to savannas to thick jungles or prairies. As long as there are fruit or flowers for the Vespa Bee Queen to gain nutrients from, they'll be found there. As living beehives, the queen can spawn Vespa bee warriors to help defend herself or attack others. They've been hunted to the point of being very rare in modern age due to the medical properties of their honey, and due to them just being considered a pest. They're basically walking fortresses that slowly move through their environment, that only the strongest beast or bravest, maybe not smartest, hero may attack alone.
Perfect.
So for their
Yeah.
ability, once per long rest, the Vespa Bee Queen can spawn 1d12 Vespa Bee warriors. And I thought this was cool. They have 10 HP and 10 to all stats, but every time they attack, they lose 1 HP.
Oh,
That's really
Oh.
clever.
Very
That's
Yeah.
really
Loved it.
good.
So I thought that was super cool. Their honey can, once per day, they can create 1d4 vials of honey that can heal 2d3 plus 2 HP. And they have a sting attack that can do 2d10 damage, but similar to the other bees, they lose 2 HP per attack if they use this. While they have all different color schemes and cosmetic features based off of where they live, they are about 5 to 7 feet from front to back, so this is not small. This is this is
yeah,
big.
that's very large. It's terrifying, actually.
And they look similar to a the Japanese giant hornet, but their abdomen are 5 to 6 times larger than the rest of the body, and with what appears to be a harder shell with holes, which is the beehive. And then this person also gave some stats for D&D. The AC of 17 terrifies me. That's really high.
That is amazing.
Um,
As a
so-
DM, I love it.
This is super cool, but terrifying to me.
Yep.
It also
So the
has
queen bee-
serial killer movement speed. It is
Yeah.
very slow. It is like very Michael Myers, walk behind you, but eventually catch up to you.
Eye
Always.
contact, threatening. The queen bee is the hive. Did I read that correctly? That's
Yes.
so cool.
Now, I
It
think
kind of like
going back-
turtles the hive on its back
Yeah.
from what it
Yeah.
sounds like.
That's cool.
I think
is
there's
very
some
cool.
pretty interesting like plushable ability here too. Like I think my dog has a toy that is like a log with multiple squirrels inside the log.
Oh,
And so I'm seeing the plush that has like the inserts of the smaller bees
Yes.
inside of it.
That
Yeah.
would be so cute.
that would be very
Yeah.
cute. I'm wondering, do the warrior guards die for their queen? I wonder if like that's like an ability that can be like worked into this as well, where because bees go crazy for the queen bee and they're willing to do whatever. So I think, but yeah, I think this is really cool. This is kind of like the Kippa for me, where there's really a lot to it, and I like that a lot.
Yeah.
No, I'm picturing, like you said, like the warriors having an ability of just like jumping in front of the queen
Yes.
against ranged attacks. Like they're
Yep.
swarming around, almost like it buffs her AC.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a
No,
cast
that-
of shield, but it's just
Yeah.
bees.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But then also imagine like
Makes it
bees with
cool.
little honey shields and honey spears. That's cool too.
Oh.
No, that would be funny. That would be hilarious.
Would the bee shield ability then extend to the person who has this creature as their familiar?
That could be cool.
That
be
is
very cool, too.
amazing.
It could be like a little bit of a bump to your AC if you like summon the swarm.
Yeah, no, that would be amazing.
This would
Your
the
DM
druid
asked how
would be
many-
terrifying.
Yeah. How many bees do you want to sacrifice for this incoming attack?
Yeah, right.
And then how quickly do they regenerate? I mean, I know it says once per long rest it's 1d12, but like, so I guess once per long rest. I just answered my own question.
In
Carry
real
on.
time. We saw that in real time. I love that.
I'm not sure that any of the characters on the podcast would want this.
I don't
No, but
know.
I can
Right.
think of some NPCs that might want it off the top of my head.
I don't want to be like Thistle wants everything, but think of the honey nut ale recipes.
Oh,
Wow.
That's true.
I love how all of us.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
All right, what's next? Number 8, the primordial wolf. Legends state that this creature is the ancestor of all elemental wolves on all planes of existence. Its abilities is it will eat magical attacks that were within 5 feet of it. Depending on the element that it feeds, it will basically evolve into something that goes along with that element.
Ooh.
And then once it's evolved, it can then exhaust all that energy to make a attack that's comparable to a level 4 spell, so pretty strong. To then go back to a normal primordial wolf to restart the process again. Appearance-wise, it appears as a nice little wolf cub that will grow in appearance based off of the elements that it feeds on.
It's like an everlasting Eevee.
It's like an everlasting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is very cool. And I see
Yeah.
this
Love
as like, there's a ranger class called Drake Warden, and as you level up Drake Warden, you start with like a small dragon with no wings. Dragon fanatics will know what that's actually called. I do not. And then at a certain level, it becomes like more of a dragon, and then it eventually becomes like a full dragon. So I kind of imagine this primordial wolf maybe starting off as a wolf companion, and then as you level, because this seems very strong. Like as you level up, it starts to.
Right.
And then I'm a huge fan. Shaman is like my class in World of Warcraft. I love the elements. So like the idea of your wolf just like pulsing with like a fire, or like getting like charred as it absorbs fire. Yeah, I think this is a really cool idea.
right.
Yeah.
And it's very plushable. And you could have different variations of plushie.
That
You could
was
have
what
a
I was
normal
just
primordial
gonna
wolf.
say.
Yes.
I was just gonna say that. Yes, you could have one for each element, and then just the basic one. But I'm like picturing that, like you said, like with the Drake Warden, and as you level up, eventually, like your primordial wolf being like a Fenrir, where it is
Yeah.
just like massive, and yeah, absolutely.
No,
Right
I know
into
you can
battle
only do.
abilities also.
Oh, that's so cool.
Potential.
I know you can only do it with 2 of the elements, but they have those octopi that you can like flip inside out.
I was
for
thinking
like
the same thing.
yeah. You can like you could do like the opposing element and like have some type of like
Yes.
inversion thing for the plush.
Yeah.
That would be adorable.
Primordial wolf. That's funny.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was about to comment on it.
I'm telling you guys, this is gonna be hard to choose because there's
Yeah.
so many
Very
of
hard to
these.
There's
choose.
so many good ones. So many good ones.
So number 9, the squig. I just like this name, squig. Squigs are known as harbingers, whether for good or evil, nobody knows. Due to their abilities to see into the future with their third eye and other prophetic abilities, they have been chased out or hunted to endangered status. A theme we're seeing across a couple of these. They also love shiny objects, such as coins. Squigs are excellent nighttime hunters. They have slight telekinetic abilities, such as being able to move small objects with their third eye, and have been known to be diviner's best friend because of their future sight. They can also repeat certain words, such as hello or shiny, like a parrot, and fly faster than most creatures of a similar size. Squigs are all black birds with stripes of white in their wings. They have 3 talons, 2 regular eyes, and the 1/3 eye in its forehead. All of the eyes are a piercing red. Its tail
Okay.
feathers are a much lighter gray, though. And size-wise, it is slightly larger than a raven, about 2.5 feet maximum, which you will find them, and their weight is roughly 4 to 5 pounds. So pretty chunky bird.
That's a thick boy.
Hildegards.
Yes.
That's exactly
This
what I was
this
thinking.
is
Yeah.
for Hildegard.
Absolutely.
100%.
That is so
No doubt.
cool.
I also thought a little bit of Rumpelflorp, like Rumpelflorp wants to, blow things up with their mind, and this bird having like telekinetic abilities to move things with their minds. It's like,
Bumbleforp would use this to steal things.
Yeah. 100%.
Go ahead, Sheridan.
I was just gonna comment on some of that. You finish yours, and then I'll say my thing.
Well, we have a couple of times delved into love this plushiable, yes, and then Andy keeps reading, and it's like it's got 14 legs and 3 eyes, and I'm like, wow. Like the exploding weasel having 6 legs and 3 eyes, and then this one having an extra leg. It's like, I don't know. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can picture this because, like I said, my rubric that I'm using is in a game, or especially like in the podcast, and I see this with like the oracles in MythCraft. Is like being able to use these as familiars and being able to try to determine the outcome of a battle before going in, so that you know what troops to bring, and but then both parties having it and having that feedback loop get caused of just like, oh no, well, we can't do that because they have a squig too, and so our squig is useless right now. Like, That was just the thought that popped in my head.
We
Yeah, that's
need
really
more
cool. This is
squigs.
being used
It's
by
whoever has
rogues.
If you
more.
try,
Yeah.
if you try to use 2 squigs at once against each other, would it just the feedback would be too much and they just like brain hurts, can't see anything?
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Cancel each other out.
I think there's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of opportunity here for like good like narrative stuff
Oh,
in
yeah.
game. But like also like do not underplay the very simple sentence that says that they fly slightly faster than most creatures of similar size, which is anyone who's been in any good chase sequences, like you just
Oh,
need an
no.
additional 5 foot, an additional 10
Yep.
foot
Yep.
to make something happen.
Squig. I just like that.
I also think about the bird. If you guys have seen it, where what's this made of? Glass. What's this made of? Hello.
This is a
shiny.
block.
Who's this?
Nope.
Drek.
Shrock.
Even like being able to train them as messengers too, just being
Yeah.
able to
Yeah.
relay a very simple message. And since they fly faster than most other birds their size,
Yeah.
then they'd be able to cover like long distances pretty quickly. So no, I like the squig.
Kyle's
That
got the most appropriate rubric, and I'm like, can I lay in bed with this thing? Like, what does it feel like on my face? That's what I want to know.
Oh,
If it digs its claws into me, will I
Yeah.
die or will
Yeah.
I just be minorly
Yep.
inconvenienced?
nope, absolutely, 100%.
Perfect.
Counter to you, Tanner. I'm looking for at least 6 legs.
Yeah.
Only 2? Nah, next one.
Let's see what's next. Oh, next is the dragon bat.
Okay. Okay.
no.
Drag bats are tiny bat-like dragons. They live in dark places with their families and come out to feed at night, primarily feeding on fruit and small insects. They will sometimes consider other creatures that they are fond of as part of their family. They have echolocation and the ability to communicate simple ideas and emotions telepathically. They're somewhere of a cross between a dragon and a fruit bat. They have fur around their faces, their chest, their legs, while scales cover the rest of their body. The fur is typically blacks, gray, tans, and whites, but the scales are nice dark hues of blues and purples. And occasionally one might actually find a dragon bat with silver scales.
Wow, shiny.
This is cool.
I just want to see that GIF going and like breathing this little stream of fire. I just want to see it so badly. I need to see it.
I am obsessed with dragons and I'm obsessed with bats. And also the idea of something like and it's a cross between a dragon and a fruit bat. Fruit bats are fairly large, but like the babies
Yes.
would be so little. It's
Yeah.
making me think of like in Harry Potter when they have the tiny dragon that's roasting the chestnuts.
Oh,
It's so,
that's so cute.
The little
I
ones they pull
want
out of the
a
bag.
plush of this just for
Yeah.
me.
Yes. Oh man, no, that's
It also seems like something that you'll get relatively early, which I for some reason that resonates with me well. To like that the ability is not too overpowering. You can get it early because it's not doing too much. You know, it's not a 7-foot queen bee summoning
Right.
warriors at level 1. So I don't. So that resonates with me a lot.
But also imagine like it's nighttime or like dusk,
Yeah.
so you can still see, and you just see this flock of bats come out of a cave, and it's like, oh, cool, there's bats, and they all start coming towards you, and then they all start breathing fire.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
terrifying and awesome.
I am trying to think of like how these things would be used in like a political type campaign, and I'm just struggling because all I'm picturing is something adorable.
It's a
But
delicate
like
balance.
Underestimate.
like in using them, so like unleashing them on a camp at night or something, because they are nocturnal, they do have that echolocation, and they are
Yeah.
able to navigate through the darkness pretty well. So like training them to like go and attack an encampment outside of a city or something at night where it's harder for them to see, and you just see little spurts of fire going choo 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 choo.
Yeah.
You could just watch this get forever.
I
know.
know it's
I
so
know.
I
It was very-
I
I
just
keep
keep
getting
getting
distracted. I
Put my finger in its mouth. It's so cute.
Moving on. This one's long.
Those
This
are the
one's long
intrusive thoughts. Those are the intrusive.
Every time a
because
cat yawns, I'm like,
it's excellent. Number 11, the mimic backpack.
Oh.
Sometimes a backpack is a backpack, but don't bet on it. This fun little creature decided to stray away from the typical household furnishings for more of a travel-based lifestyle. It likes to see sights, try new foods, so what better target than adventurers? With multiple different places to store items, it can create different effects depending on what pouch an item is stored in. This could lead to good or disastrous effects, which is why it's important to get to know your equipment. So for the backpack, it has 5 pouches, compartments. The one on top of its mouth is big, spacious storage. It basically doubles your carrying capacity because this is the mimic's stomach. So you can just put a whole person in there if you wanted.
Wow.
The compartment on the right is large enough to fit a book. It might be larger, but you don't really want to explore too much. It's a mimic. Seemingly endless pit. Things that are stored here are consumed by the end of the day if you don't take them back out. So while mimics prefer a freshly caught meal, it's been known to consist on forgetful adventurers for putting items in this pocket and forgetting. This is not infallible, so the DM might decide that the mimic doesn't like an item and just spits it back out in the middle of the night and it just ends up next to the party. Or they might have the mimic break it down into parts, which I thought was kind of cool. So you throw in a leather-bound book and it spits out scraps of leather and paper. The left compartment is just a regular pouch, no properties. It's not even really part of the mimic, it just happens to be there. The front compartment is one where a common item can be stored, such as something such as a pencil, a watch, an ink bottle, something that's not a weapon. And when you store it here, it gains the properties of a +1 weapon for 1 round after you take it out. However, if you try to put a weapon in here to game the system, it has no effects. It just comes out covered in goo.
Okay.
Lastly, there's a secret compartment. This is something that requires a special connection between the mimic and the player. So you will only discover this if the mimic comes to like you. It requires a DC 20 investigation check to discover. And it's something that a lot of people don't know about, so people don't even know to look. This compartment does not work around true sight. That's to not give it away. The pouch is large enough to hold 1 small weapon, like a dagger or a sling, Tanner.
Yeah.
Whatever the DM agrees
Throwing
to
our
fit.
dart frogs.
This is really good for smuggling things. So when it comes to the mimic backpack, it's got 2 abilities on top of that. Basically, the mimic can communicate telepathically with whoever wears it. It does not speak common very well, but it is fully intelligent and it can convey what it needs to through its limited use of common. As it travels with the companion and it gets better knowledge of common, its communication gets better. So it can learn. It can develop better communication skills.
That's terrifying.
Once it gets to that point, the players can then ask the mimic of its previous adventures, tapping into its knowledge of what it's seen and what it's gone through.
Also terrifying.
Yeah.
While it's carried, the mimic cannot attack, but it does gain certain buffs. It goes on the user's initiative, it shares dex saves with the individual, and its speed is 0, and it cannot willingly take itself off somebody's back. Once it's being worn, it is there. As for appearance, it just looks like a dark leather aged backpack, fairly unremarkable. Just has slightly more pockets than a standard backpack. But the metal buckles are always a little bit sparkly and shiny off of nearby light, attracting people to it.
Can I please direct our attention to the AC and the HP?
Yes.
Yes.
This was written by somebody who's been physically hurt by the spell fireball.
Yes. This is someone who
You can
has
put an exploding weasel in it and it'll be fine.
There you go. I am I'm looking at this from a political intrigue aspect, and a backpack that can smuggle items and hide things, but potentially even attack someone who tries to search your stuff. is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
in terms of like not a political intrigue, anyone who has ever played in any of my games knows I like twists and turns like any DM. And giving your players a backpack and being like, here you go. And then
Yeah.
a late night by the fire, they're laying their head on their pack.
Yeah.
Something might happen.
No, I'm gonna tell you, I've got like a love-hate relationship with mimics in like all the campaigns. Like sometimes they're great storytelling, sometimes they're like misused. But Andy, will you go back a slide?
Maybe.
The content whenever it's talking about being able to break down materials, love it, amazing. Like there's something really cool about doing actual like crafting and building and getting properties and items instead of just being like, oh, do you have enough gold and enough time? No, I want you to have to get the raw ingredients or get an item, break it down in your mimic backpack, and now you've got the raw ingredients type of thing. I think that's really cool storytelling.
See, I think of it from the I want to be a tavern brawler and just be able to turn anything into a +1 improvised magic weapon.
Dip this mug in the backpack real quick.
Yep. Yep. That's it. That's all I want to do.
This also makes for a very interesting plushie that I mean, as a backpack, like you know how like there are character backpack plushies. So
Yep.
this is like this feels pretty plushable to me.
But
Like,
yeah,
it-
like build it
very
like as
cool.
an actual backpack.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
just
Put
sell
some
a
straps
But it's
on
got
it.
like teeth and a tongue and stuff.
Yes.
Yep.
I thought that was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one. This has a ton of lore behind it. It's beautiful lore, so I added all of it in. Whoever wrote this, beautiful job. The Feole, I hope I'm saying that wrong. Probably not. Shadow Fox. In the verdant tapestry of the Feywild, amidst the whispering trees and shimmering glades, there exists a creature both enchanting and elusive, the Feole Shadow Fox. This diminutive fey being, no larger than a kitten, possesses an otherworldly allure that captivates all who chance upon its presence. Adorned with celestial markings that glimmer against its sleek fur, the fox is a creature of mystery, its origins shrouded in the mist of time. With large pointed ears that twitch at the slightest sound and eyes that gleam with ancient wisdom, it moves gracefully through the shadows, its fluffy tail trailing behind like a wisp of moonlight. At dusk, when the shadows lengthen and the stars begin to twinkle in the velvety sky, the foxes emerge from their hidden hollows to frolic beneath the celestial canopy. With their small feathered wings unfurled, they dart and weave through the moonlit groves, their laughter chiming like bells on the night breeze. Despite their ethereal nature, Feole shadow foxes are social creatures at heart, forming close-knit bonds with those who earn their trust. Once befriended, they become steadfast companions, their loyalty unwavering as the North Star. Playful and mischievous, they delight in using their innate ability to shadow step to outmaneuver their foes or play harmless pranks on unsuspecting travelers. But beneath their playful exterior lies a keen intelligence and a deep sense of empathy. The foxes possess a profound understanding of the natural world, attuned to the rhythms of the earth and the whispers of the stars. They serve as guardians of the Feywild, using their cunning and guile to protect its secrets from those who would seek to exploit its magic for their own gain. In the heart of the enchanted forest, where moonbeams dance among the leaves and airs thick with the scent of wildflowers, the Feole shadow foxes reign supreme, guardians of the night and companions to all who dare to tread the path of the Feywild.
Wow.
Right?
That
Wow.
is beautiful.
That's
I
pretty
was
awesome.
there.
You were there.
Wow.
They
Is this
drew
the-
this, which is an
Okay.
awesome. Yep.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely adorable.
It's like a little
Um,
fennec fox.
Yeah. So for ability, they have basic attacks. They're also shadow stepper, so they can go from shadow to shadow. They have a mournful cry, so if a companion dies, the fox will do a mournful cry to the moon, trying to summon its species back, to bring them back to its home, with hopes of saving them. And they also have Fey Electricity, so it's advantage on saving throws against Charmed and Magic. Can't put it to sleep. They have 4 tiny little legs, large pointed ears, a fluffy tail, cat-like mouth. They have a big mane on the chest and small feathered wings on the back. All of the colors are varying shades of teal, while the rest of the body is black to gray, and then they have celestial markings all over.
I love it.
It's so
Right?
cute.
It
I
is
have-
plushable.
Yes,
Very
absolutely.
slushable.
Very plushable.
Check.
I have a character from a previous home campaign that absolutely needed one of these little creatures.
Oh man.
They could also shadow step. I think it was only like once a day or once per long rest or something. But if they could shadow step with this little animal companion, that would have been so fun.
I will say, having a bite attack and a claw attack, you have me so messed up if you think I'm throwing this thing into battle. This thing is, I'm protecting this thing. I will claw and bite anybody who looks at this thing.
It empowers you. It gives you a
Yes.
claw and bite attack.
Right.
Wow. I mean, yeah, this was great. This was, again, for the ones that have had like the in-depth lore and given us a
Yeah.
bit more, it definitely adds to the creature itself or the companion itself. This was, wow.
I'm a sucker for anything like Shadow Fae like related, and like anything that's like the idea of like shadow stepping and like bamfing from place to place, but like also a little bit like tricksy while still being like pure and kind. And it's really good balance. I like it a lot.
I seeing this thing with like a shadow spy, someone who is just staying in the shadows, and then this thing like shadow stepping into another room and like giving the all clear.
Yeah.
I always think of like the world of animation as well. So when I think of like D&D, I think of
Yep.
it being animated and what it would look like. And I think it'd be so cool to have something with, your party having a cute shadow fox that they use for X, Y, and Z, and then running into a bad guy who's got one, and it just looks a little more mean. It like looks a little more menacing. It's still the same, feely
Yeah.
shadow fox, but I love that idea of it being like,
Yeah.
this cute one is cute, but then there's a world like Kyle was saying, like a shadowy figure. It's like, it's how you raise them, and he raised it to be a little mean guy. Very cool.
I love the artwork
Cool
too.
story. Yeah. The next one, we have a whole bunch to get through. Number
Yeah.
13, the Zora. The Zora is a part of an ancient water elemental from the elemental plane of water named Zorus. Zorus is curious about the other planes of existence and may connect with a worthy adventurer and offer them a part of themselves in the form of a companion, Zora. Zorus is able to see through Zora and thus satisfies their own curiosity just by observing the new world. Zora is a non-combat being, and rather is able to use their action to change their shape into a number of forms, provided that Zorus has seen and understands the function of these items. So this could be something like a fishing rod, 50 feet of rope, an umbrella. As the players progress, other items might be unlocked as Zorus sees them through this familiar and comes to understand them. So this could be something like a bucket, a diving helmet, a cloak, a mantle of water, tripwire, traps, all that kind of stuff. Zora typically appears as a tiny elemental octopus. They are slightly transparent blue, but other than that, they have no distinguishable features like eyes or mouths or anything like that.
You had me a fishing rod. Yeah.
I want every single one of these in the show. This is like, no, I love the versatility of this. I love the
Yes,
fact
very
that it's something like you can create an item that you need temporarily, but you may not always be able to. So like you get one of these thinking like, oh, it's going to be so versatile. And then Zorus has never seen a
Yeah.
umbrella before, but you need one. Or
Just
like
like
a
picturing,
springtrap.
like trying to explain to your familiar, this is an umbrella. You use it to block rain. I get that you're always wet, but I need to not be wet.
And then like
It
seeing
reminds
like an
me-
adventure, like wear it as a bracelet or something like that, because it's just a tiny
Yeah.
octopus.
Yeah.
So cute. Oh my gosh. It reminds me a little bit of I can't think of his name. The little pink blobby dude
Morph.
from Treasure Planet.
Morph.
Morph.
Oh,
I just
my-
thought that. I just thought that.
Yeah.
Morph.
What a great reference.
but like an octopus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I want
I
to play
love
with
how
one of
you
those
guys ate that
as
up.
like a warlock, with Zorus being my patron.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yep.
I think that would
Very
be
cool.
so much
That's
fun.
very cool.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
I like Kyle's idea, or Carradin's, excuse me, idea of wearing the octopus as like a bracelet, and I think plushiable, that would be very cool. My initial thought was
The
any
slap
octopus plushie would also work as a hat, but
Yeah.
with it being a tiny octopus, the bracelet definitely would be
Uh,
cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I love it. The mechanics speak to me. Super creative.
Yes, very, very creative.
The next one. Fluffy. This is a cute, well-loved plush that came alive from the wish of a child. This plush can move and walk on its own, but prefers to be carried. It has bludgeoning resistance.
Naturally.
It can go invisible or go completely still and just appear as a normal plush. It sings or has a music box inside that, when heard, casts sleep or catnap spells. Hugging it allows the holder to get the effects of comprehend languages once a day. And it has a telepathic link to its owner, and its owner can see and hear remotely through it. The appearance is a cute, well-loved plush of the owner's choosing, so it can look like whatever you want it to. It can be anything in the monster manual, but no larger than an average house cat in size, and no smaller than a large rat. And whatever it is, whatever monster you choose, it looks like a cute toy version of that monster, with visible stitching, button eyes, bright colors, fake fur, leather, everything.
Owlbear plush.
Right.
Oh, very fun.
Yeah.
I want an owlbear plush so bad, but just like with extra magical abilities on it, that would be so cool.
Yeah. I love the imaginary friend ability. Like
Same.
that there is
Yes.
just like that's chef's kiss.
I can picture, with all of the trauma, Hildegard carrying this around
Needing one of those, yeah.
and then like just setting it down and hearing and seeing remotely through it, but then it coming back and her just like cuddling it to sleep. I can just picture that in my head.
But also, didn't Lucian have a little like wolf plush?
Little wolf like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Gave it to friend.
Friend also needs this when they lock up and just start pointing to Posh. The plush also just locks up and just pointing to Posh. Going over to Posh.
Give it its own little sign.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Oh no, I loved it. It's adorable.
Yeah.
It is absolutely adorable.
It
Kinda
could be any
reminds me
plush you
of-
want in terms of
Yeah,
plush
that-
wolf.
True.
I played a Poppet in Pathfinder, and it's kind of given me like same like almost like whatever type of like Poppet plush like energy to it, which I think is just like super cute to like role play too.
Right.
Just creepy doll vibes at the same time. Next one, another big long lore. This is the Hungering Spirit,
Okay.
Ooh.
the essence of the devourer of mankind. The origin of this mysterious spirit derives from eldritch mythology. Some say that this being is wicked and mischievous due to its fickle nature, yet others say that it is a harmless and kind spirit that only seeks kind souls for companionship. Many stories are told of this mysterious spirit, but no one knows what the truth is about it, only mystery of its true nature. This wandering spirit only shows itself to someone that has lost its way in faith, but had a strong will or offering help to those in need. It will offer its strength to those who the spirit is attached to as their familiar, but in return, it only requires one thing and one thing alone: souls of their master's enemies for the spirit to feed upon. The spirit will warn their master if they fail to meet this requirement or use their power for too long. The terms of the spirit are that they can only use their power for a limited number of times, and only for a certain amount of time that the spirit gives them. And almost all of its previous masters have failed to honor this agreement. Failure means submitting their lives to the spirit, consuming their soul, and then moving on to their next victim. Those few that have honored this agreement have gained the spirit's blessing, has offered them more time and strength, and more time to use its power. The longer you spend time with the spirit, and the stronger the will of the master, the more the spirit will be a companion. But most of those that have passed the requirements have still met terrible fates, and thus shattered the hopes and dreams of the spirit, making the spirit more and more sinister as it passes from master to master, and making it more fickle and darker in nature, to the point that it reveals its true form and manifests its true power, and unleashes its fury and rage amongst mortals, and nothing can satiate its hunger once its true power is unleashed. Its legend grows more as time passes, as for those that have lived through its hunger and rage write of their experience in history books. Only twice in its lifetime has its true form ever been unleashed upon mortals, to the point that it reveals its true form, it manifests its true power, and unleashes its fury and rage among mortals, and nothing. Oh, I think I copied that sentence twice. Its legend grows more as time passes for those who have lived through its hunger and rage and write of their experiences. Yep, definitely copied that twice. Anyways, for its ability, the familiar grants its master enhanced strength, stamina, steam, resilience, perception, so lots of big bumps. And it has a time limit that the master can use this power before they succumb to the familiar. So this person put it as you can use it for 2 minutes per long rest, and then as you level up, you get more time. However, the longer you go, once you hit level 18, you start taking damage for using it too long. So you can use it for up to 5 minutes, but after 4 minutes, you're taking 1d6 damage every 10 seconds. So basically, the longer you have with it, the stronger it gets, but if you use it too long, you start to succumb to it no matter what. This spirit takes the appearance of a small child with white hair and pale white skin, wearing a black or brown tattered robe, dirty and bloody bandages around its body, and an elk skull mask with its eye sockets pitch black, with the exception of bluish glow orbs as its eyes that turn red when angered. It is always followed by will-o-wisps that share the same color as its eyes. This thing is terrifying.
I think we have a moral, an ethical, a social responsibility to protect the world from. We can't ship this to people.
This is Hildegard.
This is
I think I'm picturing this more as a patron than as a familiar. Like a warlock with this as a patron and inherently gaining spells like Hunger of Hadar, Evard's Black Tentacles, stuff like that. And then maybe like an ability of like regaining spell slots as you kill. So like if you take something, you regain a spell slot instead. So like the Fiend, like you've got you regain temporary hit points. But no, this thing will give you more power the more you kill. So if you reduce something to 0, you actually regain spell slots. And so I don't know, I'm picturing this more as a patron than as a familiar.
Hold on, but the time limit and number of uses thing is very interesting to me. This might be a very like niche reference, but if anyone here like watches Chainsaw Man, they have like relics and artifacts which have like countdown timers, and this could very arguably be like, okay, like it's OP, but you've got a total of like 6 uses, and your character perishes at the end of those 6 uses, type of thing. Yeah.
I like I think of this as maybe your players wandered somewhere or tried to do a little too much. You're like, okay, you can go ahead and try and get this player character back and revive them, but you have to go do X, Y, Z. And while you're there, you have now inherited the hungering spirit. So I don't want to say that it is a punishment, but I do see this as like this little spirit is following you. And then I also think, plus the ability, it would look like a spooky voodoo doll, but the will-o-wisps that can go blue to red, that would be very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be adorable.
Yeah. Second.
This is our first creepy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like it though. I think it's got a lot of potential for sure.
The next one is back to adorable. This is the Kellerna. The Kellerna likes to sleep most of the time, but will follow anyone if they compensate with enough snacks, which is basically just me in an animal farm. The Kellerna was first found living inside animal fur that has been shed onto the ground. They're very smart and spend their winters cuddled together in groups. They tend to have big families that take care of each other. They dislike bullies and try their best to help people in need. They are rumored to be very wise and give people good luck for long periods of time. However, in reality, they just make people really happy. Their ability is just to cast guidance twice a day on an ally. And their appearance is a violet fox with green accents and bright green eyes. And they have a pink mane around their neck that's often mistaken for a scarf.
Interesting.
It's working. I'm happy.
Just looking at it, yeah. I think the ability is like really simple and good, but also like reasonable. Like you get a party that doesn't have a cleric or somebody, and you got to pop a couple of extra guidance, and it also works so well with the lore they created because it makes you feel good. You're doing better at your checks. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I like it.
It says they were first found living inside animal fur, so are they actually a fox creature, or are they, like, taking on the form of the fox creature with the fur that they're wearing? Just
I want to know how big they are, because when I think of piles of fur on the ground, I'm thinking like small. So I'm thinking they're like
You've never been to my house.
Yeah, we've seen your dog, Roger.
Yeah, right. I like it. I think that is definitely something that has a lot of potential for campaigns. Like you said, I mean, if you don't have a cleric who can cast guidance, then you have that ability to with a familiar, and having those. I could just picture like just to screw with a player who has an edgelord type character, giving them this as a familiar just to mess with them. I think that it's absolutely something that would be hilarious.
I also like the idea of the character who's not incredibly trusting and has had like this as their companion, and so if I can't rely on anybody, I can rely on you, and I know that you're gonna be able to help me out and get through whatever XYZ is with that guidance.
Right.
This should be friend's companion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just chilling inside the foliage up top.
Next one. The snug slug. A cuddle bug or a snuggle slug. Yes. The first sighting happened in the Shadowfell, and others were discovered emerging from the abyss. Most impression of these beasts begin in a similar fashion, that of which is to behold a nightmarish elongated blob with a mouth so wide it stretches nearly from ear to ear, allowing their many rows of teeth to be on full display, a smorgasbord of jagged fangs and misshapen molars. Having bulbous arms tipped with 3 gnarled claws, even their many wrinkled formed menacing shapes. What's worse is that wisps of shadow swirl around their form and chase behind in their wake. Due to such, they were once called bane blobs or slay slugs. In actuality, snug slugs hail from the Feywilds. It is a natural defense of theirs to deceive and intimidate others into believing they are far more dangerous and wicked through the use of transmutation and illusion magic. They manage this extremely well. Tricks they no doubt learned from visiting such places as the Shadowfell and even the very abyss itself. They have almost no combat abilities whatsoever. When they reveal their true selves, it is a sight of wonder. These aptly named snug slugs are such gentle and caring creatures. Skittish, yet so very curious. Once past their initial nervousness, they become truly affectionate. Often rubbing and bumping into those they form bonds with, even wanting a snuggle or to cling to their favorite person. Giving out slug hugs is something they cannot seem to do enough. Having an extreme case of if it fits, I sits, to the point where they attempt to squeeze into spaces far too small for themselves, yet somehow manage to rarely ever get stuck. This has caused the term meat puddle to be coined for them. The fact that they wiggle and giggle so much when in motion has only solidified this nickname of sorts for them. So, in terms of ability, given enough time, the snug slug can eat just about anything, making them portable garbage disposals in a way. Though they prefer to have small bites and to chew everything a very long while before swallowing. While it's preferable to them to always be chewing on something, they are surprisingly subtle and tame about it. Ingesting things that give a day's worth of nutrients at once is akin to drugs for them. With an overactive metabolism, they can constantly generate a good deal of warmth. Their saliva is quick to dry once out of their mouths and is surprisingly sterile. Add to that the fact that the spittle of theirs becomes a hardened shell, gives it utility as well as medical functions.
Yep.
The snug slugs
Noted.
Yep. The snug slugs seem to understand spoken language, but they cannot speak themselves. But they are able to mimic a wide variety of noises and sounds, but sadly fall short when it comes to actual words. They communicate through a strange mixture of chirps, croaks, and meows. They slither about by secreting a slimy, sticky substance that allows them to cling to all manner of surfaces, including walls and ceilings. This goop evaporates rather quickly, but is a nuisance in the way of difficult terrain. Those that take one on as a familiar can learn to use this path of glop as a means to climb while keeping their own hands free. To give them the chance to be bonded in such a way is something that they are ever grateful for, to the point that if the one giving this opportunity comes under threat of death, the chosen snug slug will use its own body to shield them. The actual sight of these is in the ways of chubby, chunky cuteness, with an array of vivid colors that cause them to shimmer and shine in the light. Their bulbous fake arms tuck away to have actual little tiny arms, and they are about the size of a Maine Coon cat. And just adorable.
Well,
Interesting.
That was a lot
Slug
to
with
drink in,
arms.
That was a lot to get.
but bulbous arms with gnarled claws. Again, I got plushy brain. That's my job is plushy brain. I immediately went to those hats that have like the long hanging arms that have like pockets in them at the bottom. And you can like put your hands in it.
oh yeah.
That's what I thought for the snug slug. I like that.
Yeah.
But like the aspect that's the illusion of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then being this big monstrous blob, like we said before, the
Yeah.
the reversible, so being able to
Yes.
flip it reversible, it's just this big blob with this giant smile on its face.
It's a really good idea. Wow.
The medicinal properties of the spit. That has a lot of
Yeah.
real world implications.
Real.
I was, as Andy was reading, their saliva is quick to dry out of their mouth and it's surprisingly sterile. I was like, what? Why? Why
I
are we
mean-
getting this information? But then it made sense.
That very important to my notes for my very specific rubric that I am using. It checked a couple of things. It meows and it has sterile spit, so we're good.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yeah, it meows.
If
Yeah.
it fits I sits, that's like,
Yeah.
okay, yep, go ahead and add +1 to the rubric here.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, having a familiar that just lets me climb walls. Like, go little
That'd be
dog.
cool,
Okay, then
yeah.
you
Like-
just follow it.
Right.
Built-in boost
Oh,
of
it-
spider climbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it said hands free, right? Like it wants you to just be able to walk up it. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. And
Just
I
standing
just
on the ceiling.
so looking at it from even the narration standpoint to having these to where you can infiltrate keeps easier, but then having that illusion type magic as well too to be able to cloak and hide is pretty phenomenal. And then if you get hurt in battle, medicinal properties.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is the limit on the snug slug can eat just about anything? Can it? Don't my Google search now is can the snug slug hide a dead body? Like, what is the limit on that?
If you've got a group of murder hobos, you need to hide the bodies.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
like
they need small bites and take a long time to chew things.
It's gonna take forever.
It's like a snake trying to eat something too big.
You can hide a body, but it will take quite a long time.
Oh my god.
Next one.
Oh
Back to
god.
creepy.
Oh god.
hello.
This is the
I'm
bone
awake.
crawler. Bone crawlers are magically contorted beings who have bonded themselves to an individual. They will do anything to please their bonded partners. They have 4 spider-like legs and the body of a gerbil.
Oh. Okay.
I don't
A
want it to be
gerbil.
plushable, but I think it is. I think it is.
I like it. I do. I'm a huge fan of like horror campaigns and like scary settings and stuff like that. So like the podcast is a break from what I normally do, but this has such amazing like horror campaign
Yeah.
potential. Can you imagine a swarm of these just running
want
at
to.
you?
No,
And you
am,
just
but
hear
I would
that
like to
click,
not.
click, 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 click. Like you just hear that?
No.
Oh my god, that is
Little nails.
amazing.
I imagine
Yeah.
them like being like really diving into the creepiness, and like as you're walking in somewhere, you hear like the like whatever sound their bones rubbing together would be, and you're just like, what is that? And then you just see this horde of bone crawlers.
Hold on.
Oh.
You hear
I
the
want,
before you
but I
see
want
them.
them. I want them to make regular gerbil sounds though, to be like juxtaposed.
How gerbil are they? Are they trying to just jump off of things and hurt themselves? Because that's very gerbil.
Oh no.
Ooh,
I just want the sweetest PC to have one of these. Like it just fell on them from the ceiling and adopted them, and they just have to deal with it.
Do they speak? And if so, what does it sound like? Because that's
No,
terrifying.
No,
do not.
they like
From
jump
outside.
down and you're
The line is
expecting.
drawn.
Yeah, you're just expecting that like horror voice, and it's like, "Hi, how are you?"
You're my friend now. We're
Like,
having
I don't know if
some
I'm
tacos
better
later.
or worse.
Yay, let's be friends.
or else.
Oh no. All right, next one. The Fill. The Fill is a tiny invertebrate and crawls on the ocean floor. After a large tidal wave, a bunch of them were stranded on land. Looking to keep their skin wet, a bunch took refuge in patches of forest moss. Over time, they have become accustomed to forests, and now you can find them all over the place as long as there's moisture nearby. They are poisonous. You can command them to make an attack against a creature's fort. So we're in MythCraft again. If they succeed, they are poisoned. They have the ability to filter water through their bodies and produce 2 gallons of potable water a day. Non-summoned ones, these are familiars that you summon. They need to spend at least 1 hour a day submerged in water or they will die. They are amphibious. They can breathe water and they have a swim and climb speed. They are tiny. And some of them actually have wings, but once they have wings, they can no longer swim. Their appearance is colorful and varied, as they are from all over the place. They all, however, have a base appearance of a vivid and vibrant sea slug with 2 antennae, almost appearing like little bunny ears. Some are fluffy, some are sleek and cool. Oftentimes, they'll stand out into an environment due to their coloration as a warning to predators that they're poisonous and not good to eat.
I
Wow.
think that's what every brightly colored creature in nature, the brighter it is, the deadlier it is. I like it.
I wanted to have like the wise old rabbit voice. Like that's what I want the Phil to sound like. That's how I picture that first image sounding.
I love that it's called Phil. I know it's not spelled with a PH, but that's every time I hear it, that's what my brain fills in.
Fills in. Mal really likes it. It's called Phil.
It's a filter.
Oh my gosh, it is. With the, yeah, it.
I
If
love
you guys
it.
are wondering how
The
our game
realization-
goes, it's a little bit like this.
The realization that just crossed Mal's face as I watched their face go from like, oh,
Like, oh, it's cute. Oh my gosh.
it's the filter.
So, how tiny is what I want to know.
I'm picturing like
Because-
this big.
2 gallons of potable water a day. How much time does it need to do that?
That's a lot of water.
It's a lot.
I mean, if you just like have a bucket with 2 gallons, you just like drop them in there, and then 10 minutes later you take them out, shake them, and then they're done.
I like to imagine it's like a puffer fish where it just blows up and then just like,
So you're
All the
actually
water
drinking
goes
spit.
away, and then you watching the water just pour out of it.
Now, for the plushability of this, I think there's a cool opportunity to have like the sleek body of the fill, but then to have all of those almost like some of the like cute appendages coming off of it that have like different texture that kind of gives it that feathering that we see in the photo. So it's like a
Hear me out.
multi-texture, yeah.
We make loofahs.
Lou fills. They're Lou fills.
Lou
fills. No, and even using it in like a political intrigue campaign, whenever you've got somewhere like Aten, who's a desert environment, and they're filtering the water there in order to have drinkable water.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Can the flying ones also produce 2 gallons of water a day?
Ooh, that's a good point because they can't
Probably.
swim anymore. Oh, what if the
I
flying
would-
ones produce like clean? They purify air.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
You were on it.
Roger's trying to get it out. I think no.
Sorry.
But then what if they did? I'm thinking about mouth.
You don't get to talk.
Okay, 2 left, guys.
Two left. Two left.
We got to pick. I don't know. How
We
we're
got
gonna do
this. We got this.
I got
The
notes.
next one is the Lix. I don't know how to pronounce this.
Linksard?
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 Thank you, Linksard.
Linksard.
We'll go
It
with that.
sounds like a Pokemon.
It does.
does.
The origin of the Linksard is unknown, but as far as anyone can remember, they have lived among Kleppen, so another MythCraft reference.
Okay.
They are extremely emotive and have big personalities. Through yips, squeaks, and barks, they talk to their owners and expect them to answer. Linksards do not see themselves different from anyone else. They are very sociable and want to be included in everything. They are often referred to as tiny bards.
Okay.
Their abilities: 1, help, using its 3 tails to twine around each other in a mesmerizing way that trances and distracts the target. It gives TA to allies against whatever target it is. This is meant to go pair with witches. So, uses of the witch is 1 AP. So in MythCraft, for those that don't know, witches can grant part of their action to their familiar to do things. So for this creature, it would be to give the witch or an ally 1d4 shield HP. And then Squeak Charm. When the witch or allies are distracted or mentally attacked, such as charmed or intimidated, it can use a reactive AP to squeak at the affected ally and break them from the trance because nothing withstands the cuteness of the Linksard.
That's awesome.
It has a fur-covered body, kind of bunny-shaped, with long back legs and short front legs. The head is feline, doggish in shape. It has 3 horns going up the nose, with the third being the largest and on its forehead. It has elf-like ears with very tiny tufts at the end. It has oversized claws, so it moves around very quietly, and a little mohawk of fur that goes all the way from ears down to tail. It has 3 tails that are very fluffy and basically as long as its body. And the fur has a base color that fades to another color at the tips, and it comes in a very wide variety of colors.
Interesting.
It seems very regal. I could see
Right.
like higher ups
Yeah.
having Linksers walking around with them.
Dude,
Being
like
referred to as a tiny bard immediately made me think of Lucian.
Yes.
Yeah.
I immediately pictured, like I repictured everything about Queen Oltano in Yerisk and just pictured this like winding between her legs as she
Yes.
walked, like
Oh, absolutely.
immediately.
Ooh,
That'd be so
Immediately.
cute.
that's really cool.
I would also love a familiar or a companion like this to force Carradine to make the yips, squeaks, and barks.
Yep,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a very demanding way.
Yip, yip.
Yes, because they're talking all the time. Exactly.
An entire episode of just that.
Yeah.
Yep. Alright.
We're completely redoing the trailer, and that's the only thing
Yep.
that I'm saying in the entire trailer.
We're gonna translate.
Last but not least, the Canis
Ooh.
Inanus.
Nice.
Or the Canis Inanus. I don't know which one.
Oh no!
It's definitely that one. It's definitely that
Also
one.
known in folklore as the Watchful Void. rumors that it's a rare forest-dwelling apparition. Some witches even refer to them as ghost hounds. Frightening at first, these entities are known to follow and guide adventurers safely through forests and similar climates. With a high perception and an affinity for arcana, these playful and intelligent creatures end to willingly
Tend.
bond with similar individuals as a familiar. Tend. Probably tend. Medium or small, their lifespans are unknown, but when bonded, they have been observed to stand by as familiars as long as their master is alive. Their ability is short distance teleportation, somewhere in Misty Step, etherealness, and even possession of minor arcane energies. So far, it's been noted that they have lightning, cold, force, and psychic. They're about the size of a juvenile wolf, but their notable feature is their staring one-eyed skull. It's full of sharp fangs and decorated with curving horns, and the bone seems to be infused with the blackest of fur and lichens. Along the jaw are 3 ears, and sprouting from the spine is a thin line of bone-like needles, and it has the color of stormy sea. Fluffy black fur covers the lupine body, and the strong neck from its neck to its tail. Along the fur are spots of aqua bioluminescence, appearing to be some sort of communication or emotional indicator. That's how it speaks to its master. And then it has padded paws that end in hooked, blackened claws.
Toe beans.
Toe
Yeah.
beans.
Must squish.
I really
love
like
this creature.
the coloring in the artwork. I think that might be
Yeah.
the aqua bioluminescence, but the like teal-ish markings down its body and its tail
Yeah.
really like breathe life into it. I also like that they saved us from the name conundrum by just allowing us to call it the Watchful Void.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I think it's cool that it's got a scientific name.
Yes, same.
Yeah, it is cool.
And the front facing with the little smile.
With a little-
It's
yeah.
just like
Smile,
gesture
and the
and
heart,
the one
yeah.
big eye. It's adorable.
Yeah, I like
want
this.
Mal wants one of these.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Really cool.
I like the idea too of a creature that has like bone-ish head, but the rest of the body is like a full-fledged like creature, fur, everything.
Right.
Like that aesthetic to me is super cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I could picture this being in like one of the guerrilla warfare parties that are going through the woods and having that like being able to do that like short distance teleportation and having like being able to like fire off a spark of lightning whenever enemy forces get too close in order to signal an
Yeah.
attacker. Something
Yeah.
along those lines. I do really like that.
Yeah. I like the cryptid energy of it too. There are things that are
Yeah.
not known about it, so I kind of want these to be like remarkably rare in world, so that it's really meaningful and like
Right.
important that somebody has found one, and then bonded with it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. That is all of them. It's a whole bunch.
Great job.
Yeah, great job, everybody.
Yeah,
Those are
great
all
job.
really cool.
Or fantastic.
impressed.
You are all making
Yeah.
it very tough. So
I have
now
not been taking
pick,
notes, so I
pick top
forgot.
2, 3 if you really need to. Do you guys need me to share this slideshow with you?
You know,
Possible.
it
For
would've
those
been-
that didn't take notes.
I have my notes. I did think it'd be funny if you were like very hard to choose, and then all 5 of us at once were like X thing. And it's like, all right, well, maybe it wasn't. We really loved that one.
And that's that.
I think I have. Okay, hold on. I do have to go over my notes here. I have a
Yeah,
couple.
yeah.
I'll have to narrow it down to 2 here.
Pick 2.
So-
I said 3 if you have to. Pick 2, and then we'll argue the ones that. Hopefully, we have some overlap and we don't have 10 different ones.
Yeah.
So I actually have my 3.
I have 4.
You can do it, Mal.
I have 5.
Okay.
Eliminate one.
I have 5. So the 3 that I was most intrigued by, and
Right.
it was a combination of both cuteness, adorableness, or utility. So as a DM, I'm always looking at what utility is being provided by what is in my world. And so my three are the Keepa, the Shadow Fox, the Fioli,
Yep.
and Zora. Those were my three.
Ooh, yeah.
Yep.
Because just the utility between all of them, like I said, the Keepa being able to assist with like interrogations and political summits and everything like that. The Shadow Fox being that like shadow step working with a spy, integrating, and then the Zora with just the extreme versatility of it.
Yeah.
And like what Andy said, having a patron with Zorus. And part of that patron is that you get a little Zora to carry around with you too.
Yeah.
Like Pact of the Chain type thing.
Yeah.
I have a top favorite, and then I have three others that I love that I cannot decide between.
All right, Mel. Just give us all four.
Yay. So for like usability in a campaign setting, both combat and in and out of combat, I went with the Queen Bee. I can't remember the full name of it.
Vespa.
Vespa.
Vespa. Yeah, and it's like the size of a Vespa. But like I just keep thinking about the details of it and just the different ways that it can be used and the medicinal properties of the honey. It just
Yes.
there's just so many aspects of it that are just so interesting. And it made it so hard to pick between all of them because there's so many that just like there's layers. And I'm going to be thinking about these creatures for forever. And then obviously the dragon bat I just love so much. I want them to be real so bad. And then the primordial wolf and the wandering void are my other two favorites. And I was wondering how cool would it be if we kind of merged those two together?
I thought the same thing.
And it's like looks a little bit like the wandering void, but it has the abilities of the primordial wolf with how like the different energies and elemental properties.
Right.
That's cool.
Those are my tops. But again, super hard to pick. I love all of them so much.
Roger, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. Okay, so I've got three picked, and I'm not gonna say that I've got a fourth one, but I've got a strong argument for that one of these just needs to be included in something collective, collaborative moving forward, regardless. So my rationale here, first and foremost, plushability, right? I'm thinking about like holding it, touching it, like what is like a product that I'm like interested in like purchasing and owning and like showing, but then it's like mechanics and in-story like role play opportunities. Like what's a good companion that I could have? Number one, Shadow Fox for me.
Yeah.
I think it's remarkably plushable, super cute, and also had like some really cool, cute story with it as well. Number two, the exploding weasel. I don't think I need to explain anything else. That's what the people want. Give them. They crave exploding weasel. And yeah. And for three, for me, you might be a surprise. I'm going with the snug slug. Right?
Okay.
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 Again, I will remind you all, it meows and it's sterile. But I'm going to make a strong argument here because I think that Zora needs to be like included, like something needs to be adopted from that. That is just one of the coolest and most creative ideas, even if it's like talking about like patron stuff or other types of connections. That's super cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So for my three, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I have starred, but the three that I think I've landed on, based off of, again, plushie ability, will it plushie? I'm there for it. The Fioli Shadow Fox is up there, 100%. Everything encompassed. That's a great familiar. I'm also, like I said, a huge fan of the elements. So the Primordial Wolf is up there for me. I like that a lot, and I like when I think about I like it, the practicality of it in game with having, and I know that this wasn't necessarily fleshed out, but the idea of, adopting a wolf, and then as you level up and the wolf gets stronger, it starts to adopt these abilities, and you're like, what kind of wolf did I get, bro? I
Yeah.
had no idea. And then this wasn't on anybody else's list. I do love Zora. That's gonna be one of my honorable mentions because of the versatility of it. But plushie ability, although this might be a little bit harder, I really liked the Mimic backpack. I really like the idea of having a backpack plushie because that's very cute. That's very cool. You can use it for multiple things in real life, but then also what it did in game, I thought was a lot of fun, especially when it comes to our game being political intrigue and trying to be sneaky, hiding things, having that secret pocket, building that bond with a mimic, maybe, getting your fingers nipped at first. Yeah, I like that one as my third.
Yeah.
Love it.
My top 3 are really simple. The flower.
Oh, the
Because-
succulent
Yeah.
is so good.
gosh,
Yeah. That's not
yeah,
any
you
of
needed
your
to go through
list.
the. You needed to
I-
go through the slideshow again.
I just think that is great on all fronts of being
Yeah.
able to use an RP and combat and all that kind of stuff. The exploding weasel, just because I think that's hilarious, and I want to have a weasel just explode randomly as my familiar.
Nope, absolutely.
And then the squidlet.
Oh,
Squidlet.
It's just it's such a simple concept, but it's so brilliant, and I just want a little tiny flying light bulb next to me.
And
Yes.
so fun to
Yeah.
say.
It's so fun to say.
Squidlet.
So
Can I add the flower to mine as well?
that's why
likes
we
the
didn't
flower.
go over. That's why we didn't go back through. Now you'd have 7 instead of 4.
Okay, wait. I've amended my list to the flower, the queen bee, and the primordial wolf. I'm not going to go through the honorable mentions because it will be all of them.
Oh no, there were so many more that I wanted to add. I'm
Same.
just looking at it, like I said, from my perspective of what can I use in my games, not only just my MythCraft games, but my D&D games as well too. And those are just the ones that I ended up landing on. Yeah, I think it would be pretty phenomenal.
well, we have to pick one.
Yeah.
What's I saw you tallying. What's the tally?
So, a lot of them with one vote because we all have different opinions. But the Shadow Fox has the most. That's on basically everybody's list or close to. So the Shadow Fox has 1, 2. I think it got off of somebody's list. So the Shadow Fox has 2. The Exploding Weasel has 2. And now Flower has 2, and Primordial Wolf has 2.
Oh wow.
Yep. So we have 4 things that have 2 votes. So we have Shadow
Can we
Fox.
pull up all the pages again? Not all of them, but like just
Yeah.
those ones.
And if any of the creators of those 4 in the chat and want to convince us, whether that be monetarily,
Do that. Do
or-
that.
I know.
Don't do
For
that.
legal
For whatever
reasons.
That is a joke.
anything that you want to do to convince us,
Does anyone have the mute feature for Tanner? Mute?
I closed the
To
chat.
activate Tanner Mutro.
Yeah, activate Tanner Mutro.
Hey, I did that myself.
We
I
need
did
a
it
familiar
myself.
that
we
can do that.
have Fox, we have the Wolf. We have. What else do we have? We have
Flower.
the Weasel.
Okay,
Yeah.
so while we have these
we-
4, though,
It's weasel time.
it has to be, what is our rubric? I think we create a rubric right now, and then we go back through these 4 and see what hits this rubric.
I feel like we all had really good like mechanics and narrative and like how we'd use them in game, but I think when push comes to shove, we got to remember that it's like plushable first.
That
like
is true.
what's gonna be like cute and fun and something that's nice to hold, and also be exciting for the compendium and the companionship. That's my take.
I think plushable is 1. I think RP usefulness, as well as like potential mechanical usefulness. So will this add to the story both as adding to the story itself and be useful for the player to use. Um, and as was written in the submission, some of these will probably be adjusted, so nothing is going to be as written, to make sure it balances and it fits in, and it's not super OP. But I definitely think looking at, I mean, it's supposed to be a familiar, right? It's supposed to be a companion.
Yeah.
You want it to travel around with you. You want it to be useful. Maybe you want it to be adorable or you want it to be hideous. I don't know.
Okay.
So we have the 4.
Yep.
Okay. So top contenders right now are the
Flower, Primordial Wolf, Exploding Weasel, and the Shadow Fox.
All of them are plushable.
very much so.
I think having a little plushy flower pot with soft, succulent leaves, are they called leaves? I don't know.
With a little kawaii face.
Oh, that
Oh.
is so f***ing
Or
cute.
just like little root hands and feet.
Yes.
Yeah, that is cute.
But then like you can pull like the leaves and then another little plushie comes out.
Ooh.
I don't know how far we're getting into that, but anyway.
if we're oh, go ahead, Mal.
I'm just very happy that I was re-reminded of this one because my ADHD is just like each new thing is brand new. The
Hold on, I'm glad
The
Grant
role
gets
play?
me in the chat.
What did Grant say?
If I don't get Gary the meowing. You're all fired for leaving first. This is a joke.
Thank you for clarifying that that's a joke. The role play aspects and the mechanical story aspects can be used in any campaign of any nature with the pedals that can record sound or learn a little bit about the area that you're in. And it's a plant, but you can put a plant in a pot and carry it around with you, or in just like a little bottle or some kind, or a shoe. It can be in a little boot. I just think it's very cool.
Now I want a plushie of a succulent in a boot.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, and it's different. It is different from a lot of the other plushies that we already have.
I was also looking at that. Some of the ones that we have,
True.
it is definitely. I'm a little sad that there weren't more owl companions because that would be my number one. I love owls more than anything in this world. We already have a plush of that though. But yes, this would be very different from what we already have, especially when it comes to a lot of them being pretty like animal based or
Yeah.
already like creature based, little dragons, bats, cats, owls, stuff like that.
I think you're convincing me. I was like gonna get hung up on, I still am. I'm hung up on the Shadow Fox, like hard and true.
Yeah.
I think it's remarkably cute. I think the art was amazing. I think it's really good in lore, like in world, for uniqueness and something that's different than the current line and also different than anything I've seen in both published content
Yep.
and third-party content. I think this might then do it for me.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking of. Like,
Yeah.
in terms of like, what have I not seen in other
Yeah.
things? Like a non-animal companion,
Yeah.
like a little plant companion.
I
Yeah.
need to see a small plush flower pot in the bookshelf behind Roger every time I
Done.
see Roger on cam. I'm also leaning towards the flower, the succulent hair.
Yeah.
Do we have a winner? Anybody arguing against?
Is there any dissent?
Keratin, thoughts?
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I
Keratin's
do like
I
it.
hate flowers.
I
I hate
There will never
flowers.
be a flower in MythCraft ever.
no, every flower is going to be hit with a blight. No, but I do like the flower, and like I said at the very beginning, I can see, especially in like MythCraft the podcast with the political intrigue campaign, how versatile and how beneficial that would be. I do like it. I feel like I do personally am a little bit more leaning towards the fox right now, just because Um, a little bit of bias here. I love foxes. I'm a big
Yeah.
fox fan, but no, I would not be upset by any means. I do like the flower. I think it's got a lot of versatility. It does have a lot of ability to be absolutely adorable. Um, the plushie for that, I can picture it in my head right now. Even if we did like the boot, and it's like
Yes.
sitting in the boot with this little kawaii face with this giant smile on its face, and it's just like hi, like I absolutely I want it. Um, yeah, I'm willing to go like either or, like the flower or the fox. I just like them both. I really like them both.
So,
Well,
do we
I
just
vote
go
flower.
down the line and just say our vote here?
That's my vote. I was
That's
ahead
fine.
of Tanner.
Yeah.
Okay, flower.
Then- I agree. For my games, I would choose the wolf. Excuse me, I would choose the fox like for my players and things like that. For uniqueness, I have to go flower.
I am also flower.
I gotta vote flower. It's different from what we have already, but it's also different from what I've seen, like anywhere else, both plushy and like homebrewy kind of campaigny stuff. It's very unique, and I think it's really cool.
I can agree with flower.
So
Wow.
looks like flower wins. Grant didn't tell me how you should communicate, so if the person who won is Grant, you should put that in the chat. I believe you submitted a password with your submission. I'm gonna guess Grant just wants you to message him on Discord, but I don't want Grant's DMs to blow up or anything like that. So Grant, if you could tell us how the winner should communicate with you. Congratulations. Again, all of these were absolutely excellent. Shadow Fox, very, very close second.
Yeah.
Also, whoever made the queen bee, can you send me the stat block? Because I want to use it. It's
Right.
so cool. It's got such
Yeah.
potential for like not just a familiar, but like a beast.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
I want to use all of these in the show. Just
Yeah.
being completely and utterly honest with you, I want to use all of them. I love all of them. I think all of them have multiple potentials for different things, whether it be patrons or whether it be like beasts that you encounter in the woods or whatever.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of all of them. It was extremely difficult for me to try to pick a winner.
I don't want to like get too far ahead of ourselves here, but I think this would be a really cool like series of threads to get open in the Bria's channel on there, because like there was already so much lore that was created with some
Yeah.
of these submissions, and now that they're not like
Mhm.
private submissions and like the world now knows about them, I'd love to have more stories and more stat blocks and more things like in our Discord server talking about this. I would love to see it.
Oh, absolutely.
Please,
Like,
please share in the Discord who did
yeah.
what. Now you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
absolutely.
I want to know so we can talk
so
about
much
it.
time and
I want to
effort
know
put into
who
all of
made
these.
everything.
Yeah.
100%. Grant also said in the chat that there's a chance at a stretch goal to add another one. So if you haven't created a companion or familiar and wanted to now after watching this, please do that so that way we can either revisit these or grade some new ones and see what else we can get added.
Yeah. I mean, if there was two, if we did pick two, my vote would have been the flower and the shadow fox. Like I would have been hard pressed to give up my shadow fox if we would have had a second one.
I love the shadow fox. I also love the primordial wolf.
Right.
The primordial wolf is cool. I'm right there
So
with you.
cool.
I'm right there with you.
Squidlet for life.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I love all of them. Just the versatility of like how things would be used or like partnered
Yeah.
with in this world. Because I'm looking at it from the MythCraft the podcast lens, and there's just so much versatility, and I loved every single one of them. They were all fantastic. But yeah, absolutely. Let us know in the Discord server like what you had, and you know, there's definitely I am definitely willing to have some conversations and maybe find some new things to throw into the show periodically from time to time. But
We all get a pet. We all get a pet.
Maybe Thistle gets their hands on one of those dart frogs.
dart frogs, yeah. This
I
was
didn't
just
say this.
chucking fucking frogs. Like,
All right.
I don't know why.
I'm gonna cut and I'm gonna wrap this up. 'Cause we're gonna 2 hours. Come talk about it in the Discord. Yep, I gotta.
How long
come
do
in
we
and be
have
the
until
boss.
movie night?
Yep. So that's what I was about to say.
Oh.
So first, come and if you aren't in the Discord, come chat about it in the Discord. That's mythcraft.gg/mythcraft. So if you aren't there, please come join and talk about all these amazing familiar submissions because they were all fantastic. Yes, the Snug Slugs would give amazing hugs. If you're not doing anything now and you're looking for something to do, movie night is going to start at 9:30 Eastern, so that's just over an hour in the Homebrew Discord. And it looks like right now Stargate is winning the poll for what movie they're going to watch tonight. So jump over in there, you can vote, maybe you'll sway the poll. The other options are Escape from LA and Grindhouse Death Proof. So jump in, say hello, catch a movie with Cody, who's also in MythCraft the podcast. He hosts movie night, and come and chat with us. But yeah, I'm going to end it there so everybody can go to sleep or do what they want to do, movie night. And hopefully you all pop in the Discord and continue this conversation of all the excellent things. Thank you, everybody, and congratulations to whoever made the flower.
Yeah.
Please tell me who you are, because I want to know.
Right, absolutely.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye. Good
All
night.
right, have a good one.